Garden Tour 2025 in upstate New York, Zone 6. Over here we have bed number 1, where we have a variety of different things. So we have some kales over here, black magic, and a purple kale. I forget what that one's called. Oh, scarlet kale. That one's really pretty. We also have some leeks that are in there. It might be a little bit too shaded for them. I'm not sure how they'll turn out. We have some green beans as well. This area gets shaded throughout the year. I need to cut this back. This is a cold hardy kiwi. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Over here we have some Brussels sprouts and what is this one called? Oh, garlic chives. And they grow fine here in the shaded area. And one of my favorite things about them is they flower in like the end of summertime. So they're just so beautiful, and they're edible, and they're perennial, which is really nice. Over here we have a fennel that's starting to go to seed, so I'll collect some of the seeds. And also, I believe it was the monarch butterfly really loves this, so we leave it for them to have some. We take some of the fronds here and put them with some olive oil in the food processor and put them in the freezer, add them to soups in the wintertime. It's really nice. Over here we have red noodle beans, which look like this. Aren't they so cute? This one is immature, like you could eat it at this stage, but they continue to get bigger. Like they'll still even grow past this stage, and they're really delicious. They don't taste like any other bean. They have kind of like a meaty texture, which is really nice. And they have beautiful flowers too. Over here we have some lettuce that is going to seed, and we really like this one, the Paris Island one, so I'm gonna let it go to seed and collect those seeds over there. And I don't remember what this one was. I think it was part of like a mixed blend, but we really like those too. So we're gonna collect those seeds as well. All right, next door, we have garden bed number 2 with just the cutest zinnias. I love how they have the speckles and spots. Like, doesn't this one look very fun? It's like a circus. I love these guys. They're called the candy cane stripe zinnias. Over here we have some eggplants, volunteer ground cherries, which are in the tomato family. They grow in a little husk like a tomatillo, but they're much sweeter. You can eat them when they ripen. They fall to the ground. You pick them up there. And those volunteered from a few years ago. Here's another volunteer over here. We love those. So you plant them once, you don't ever have to worry about planting them again. And we have some red onions in here that are gonna need to be harvested soon. They're doing good, even though it's pretty shaded under that zinnia. And we have volunteer cabbage from last year. And over here we have some sun gold tomatoes. These are my husband's favorite tomatoes, so I plant them closest to the garden entrance. Oh, and there's also some sweet 100s, his other favorites there. These are more of those garlic chives that are in the other bed. You can just see just how pretty they are. And again, they're edible. The leaves are great for that, especially if you need something garlicky before the actual garlic has matured. We have another trellis that we made just out of this pipe and some rebar. And then bed number 3 has another volunteer cabbage, a volunteer tomatillo. That guy's looking good. We have our basils over here and eggplants too. We have the eggplant or the flea beetle. You can see like over here, like the damage that it causes. They're really fast. Oh, here's one. Like, there's like a tiny one right there. The thing is, a lot of times when you go to catch them, oh, got that one. They'll just drop right down, and then you can't get them. Oh, there's another one. But I'm excited about this eggplant. I'm going to be putting some beets and stuff in the middle section. That's where the garlic was growing earlier. And look at these. These are the slicing tomatoes. And earlier today, I saw our very first ripe slicing tomato. Actually, I should just pick it since I'm here. Can I get it? Oh man, it's all tangled. That's what we'll have for dinner tonight. Now I'm going to have to cut it later on. Look at these beauties. They're doing so good. And these kind of fell down, so I have to lift them up. But man, everything is looking so healthy. Over here we have our garlic and turmeric, and we kept them in the grow bags. That way we can move them into the greenhouse at nighttime when it starts getting colder. Give them a little extra time to keep growing. And then bed number 4 is our asparagus tomato on the trellis. Our asparagus over here. Another volunteer cabbage. A random hollyhock that volunteered. Excuse me, hollyhock. And also, this is where our strawberries grow. Plunked in extra basil. I have a few other things that I just need space for, so I'll put them in here. This has a lot of extra room after the springtime. That's when the strawberries and the asparagus are harvested. We have our lemon balm over here. That might be a problem. It's getting very big. Oh, and it's flowering. You see that too. We have to do something about that before it flowers, takes over. Have another trellis for the red noodle beans. Over here we have our cucumbers. And we've had a lot of issues with cucumber beetles. So this year I wasn't even going to plant any cucumbers because I think we got no cucumbers last year. It was so sad. But then I was thinking maybe I'll just plant them later. Hopefully it will like not be like, I don't know, like maybe the cucumber beetles will just be in a different stage of life cycle. And then I found these really great nets and I thought, all right, I'm going to try it. I put them in a pot. These nets have a drawstring, so you can like tighten it up and you know, they look great. Nothing's getting in there. We'll see how it goes. I just used some old tomato cages I had, zip tied them together to make it large enough for the cucumbers to grow. Next to the cucumbers, we have all raspberries back there, and we had the first flush of raspberries, but we're gonna start getting the next ones probably 2, maybe 3 weeks. Some of them are getting quite big. Over here we have blackberries, and one of my favorite things about them is they're thornless. Where my mom lives, they have lots of wild blackberries, and they are full of thorns, and they're crazy. Like, you have to be so careful. So it's nice having thornless ones. My husband really kept this under control. Like, he pruned it back a lot, so we have a ton of them. We kept them covered from the birds for a while, and it made a few of them get moldy, so we just had to take off the cover, and we've been getting plenty. So the birds are getting some, we're getting some, but these are amazing. And they can be kind of hard to contain. Like, you could see over here that they're starting to pop up. They send out runners just like raspberries. So I think I'll let this grow for the rest of the year and then next year dig it up and find it a new home. Over here we have rhubarb. I don't know what type it is, but it doesn't have the red stalks. It's just green. But it's doing pretty good. It might need to be divided. You can see there's a little bit of red at the bottom, but mostly that's just the color. And so I'm going to divide them up next year. I already did that with another rhubarb. It's looking pretty good. Over here we have elderberries, which are now ready to harvest. They're looking great. I'm going to harvest them over the next week. I have some friends coming over to grab some because there's so many of them. You can see that the birds have already been harvesting. But this is great. This has been a really fast growing tree or bush, and you know, it gives like privacy in the backyard, and you also get elderberries too, which actually don't taste good on their own. Yucky. But we make elderberry syrup. You can make elderberry wine, although I've never done that. These green stalks have been great for herbs. So we have chives over here. We have oregano under here. I have to trim back these chives. Parsley, Thai basil, more Thai basil. Oh, I don't know what this is. I think it was lettuce. And then more volunteer ground cherries. I'll have to do something with them. We have our lemon basil, and we have some cinnamon basil on the other side. We have spice basil over here, more oregano, parsley. I harvested out some beets, so I'm going to replace them with some things I started inside, like cold weather stuff. But I've been loving these. I think they're really good for like things that are starting off so small. If I put them directly in the bed, I feel like bugs would just get them when they were so tiny. So I'm loving them for this. They were good for the beets. I have some, what is this one? Oh, wasabi radishes starting it there. I'm gonna have to fill it back up, but it's been great. This is bed number 5, which kind of got out of control. On this side, I just started putting in whatever I had that was extra. So I had some coleus and some of those cute zinnias again. I have some bells of Ireland. I'm having a hard time figuring out what these are supposed to look like. I mean, they're very cute. I don't know how big they're supposed to get. I don't know. I've put them in a few places to see what type of sun they like. We'll see. I'm not sure. We've got some bloody dock over here, which honestly isn't that tasty, but it is perennial. It does have some cool markings on the leaves. It's more like a survival crop. Look at this one. I love this one. I think it's so pretty. Hopefully I'll be able to get some seeds from it for next year. We also have some columbine. It's black columbine. It's really nice. And originally my idea was to have perennial herbs here. That's why I have the sage, and I think this is marjoram that is going to flower. You can see it down there, but it might be oregano. I'm actually not sure. I put it in so long ago. And there's also some thyme, but I think it's getting choked out. Oh, here it is. Yeah. I'm gonna have to really weed this one out. Think of what to do next. This is bed number 6 over here. So, not only did we have cucumber beetle problems, but we also had vine borer and squash bug problems. So I planted these later just to see if that would make a difference. I've been keeping an eye on them. So far, no squash bugs. I do have a net that I bought to put over it. I'll see about that. Got more tomatoes over here and down the line. And this year I had saved a few elephant ears and I didn't know what to do with them. I had extras, so I just divided them. I've just been like plunking them wherever I could, and I'll dig them up and save them for next year. And how cool is this? This is Malabar spinach. It reseeded itself, which I didn't think that would happen because I just thought that the seeds wouldn't survive because it was too cold. But these are very good for like a spinach substitute in the summer because spinach doesn't last in the summer, it will bolt. It doesn't taste exactly the same. It has like that mucilage texture that okra has, which I personally don't mind, but I can see that not everybody would feel that way. But it's also beautiful. The flowers, I can't quite remember what they look like, but I remember last year thinking, wow, those are really nice. So we'll see. And they'd be really good in soups. You wouldn't really taste that mucilage stuff. More tomatoes. Man, everyone's looking so happy with those tomatoes. And we have more eggplants over here. You see the flea beetle damage. I tried everything to get rid of them. The thing that I think helped the most was actually putting down some sort of a mulch. It definitely stopped them for a little bit. And the damage is less when you go up the plant, so that's a good sign. Over here we have our leeks. They seem like they're doing good. And different kales and marigolds that I had. And this random kohlrabi seed, which made it in there. Doing pretty good. And these are all shishito peppers. And these are red onions. It's their second year, so they have these beautiful flowers this year. I'm saving them for seeds for next year. And Swiss chard. When we had a hard time with the cabbage loopers, these guys were never bothered. So I've never, at least here, seen a pest that really goes after them, which is nice. So it's kind of a low maintenance plant. Plus, like, look at them, like they're so pretty. This was rainbow Swiss chard, so I just got like a variety pack. And some dahlias that I had. Not doing that much yet. This gigantic morning glory, which will most definitely reseed itself. But that's okay. These ones are the Grandpa Ott morning glories. They're very pretty. I have a sentimental feeling towards morning glories. And then over here, in this half, is where I try to keep flowers, preferably perennial ones. That way, when you're looking at the garden from the house, you already see like colorful flowers. These ones are a type of echinacea. I think they're raspberry sorbet. They're so pretty. I love them. And what's interesting is they don't grow to be that big. I don't think I realized that echinacea can come in different heights. So this one, I mean, this is its third year maybe. I believe this is probably the height that it will be, but it's really nice. And then we have the traditional echinacea. More raspberries down here. And then these are the long beds. I got a surprise pack of French marigolds, and I was never a big fan of marigolds, but I am this year. They're so pretty, especially the red and the orange ones. They're really lovely. Over here I have more of the kale. I have frilly kale, scarlet kale, black magic kale, and then in between them I have Brussels sprouts too. Hopefully this will be the year that we have Brussels sprouts. It's our 4th year trying. I'm really hopeful. More of them, red Russian kale. This will be coriander seeds coming up soon. More tomatoes over here. This is where we have all like the smaller tomatoes, um, the cherry tomatoes. And it has everybody's favorite has been the chocolate cherry. These are really great. Not too big. And then along this back wall, we have our grapes. Let's see. Ooh, here we go. We've been battling the lanternfly here, and they love grapes, but so far they seem like they're really healthy, pretty abundant. And then down this side we have blueberries, but they are not in the right place. They need a more acidic soil, and they haven't been doing very well, so I'm gonna have to move them again this year. And we have our jalapenos over here, nasturtium. I love this one, how it has that beautiful salmon color. I wonder if I have a tag here. Which one is it? I don't know. It's a surprise. And then these are some peppers. This one I overwintered from last year. It's a red bell pepper. It's strange. It's not doing that well, although it is producing peppers. I don't know. More basils. And then these are all the San Marzano tomatoes. You can see that some of them are starting to ripen. And somebody once had a really good idea where they said for like canning tomatoes, what you should do is get a bunch of determinate ones. That way they'll all be ready around the same time, and you can do canning kind of all at once instead of just collecting like 1 or 2 tomatoes a day. I thought that sounded like a brilliant idea. So they're all setting fruit. I don't know how much longer. Everyone's looking good. I mean, they still look like they're going, so I don't know how long a determinate tomato is supposed to go, but they're going. More zinnias and hyssop. Something I transplanted, and I do not remember what. But they're perennial, and they're nice. Some bee balm. And these are more squash. These ones are winter squash, so I'm going to cover them up and hope that the cabbage, nope, the squash bugs don't bother it. And over here we have more peppers, a variety of them. We have my favorite, which are the shishitos. Like if I could only plant one pepper, it would be shishito. I love those. They're so fun. They're also really expensive at the grocery store. Another lovely zinnia. I've just been putting them in between other plants just to help attract pollinators. Plus it makes it quite lovely. You can see over here I had morning glories, and they really reseed themselves, so just be careful. If you plant them somewhere, just know you will have them probably forever. And this side over here, more columbine, and I just put in like a few other random ones I wanted to give them a chance to get bigger and mature, like black-eyed Susans. That's why the columbine's over here. It's not going to be its forever home. It's just going to be growing here for now. Got some Shasta daisies. This is the rhubarb that I transplanted. So I took a lump that was the size of the one back there, and it got 1, 2, I think there's a third one. It might be like under here somewhere. But I got 3 new plants out of it. But once you transplant it, oh, there's the other one over here. They get shocked, so you have to give them some time. That's why I let these guys kind of get bigger this year, and then I'll transplant the one all the way in the back, and like let it grow over the winter or this fall. More tomatoes over here. Some hollyhocks that volunteer themselves. I'll probably transplant them. You can see a few of them. They're biannual, so I believe what that means is they only flower the second year. So I still have some that are flowering. They do well, but they're kind of wimpy. They need to be like in the back where other things can be in front of them, kind of like covering up the stems, because there's just not much happening there. Some morning glories that are growing up here. I put some sunflowers that I had, and the deer have poked their heads over and eaten the leaves. I don't know if I'm just going to kind of let it be or try to do something about it. And then here I also put more perennial flowers. This has kind of just been like a dead area over here. I've never really known what to do with it. So I just put some random things here. Loving these. They're doing so well. And the heuchera, or the coral bells, these are nice. We just missed like the flowers. They have like these little sprays of very light pink flowers. It was so nice against that dark foliage. I really like those. And over here, I'm trying to put together more perennial flowers that it could be like a low maintenance area. Have some like hollyhocks here and some echinaceas, but the yarrow is really taken over. Well, actually, the yarrow was here first. So, but once it gets so tall, it just kind of falls over. It's not a great way to prop it up. So I'm trying to put some other plants in there. I like how these echinaceas are a little bit lower. Like this one's tall and then it just kind of looked weird and out of place. But over here we have comfrey, which is pretty nice. And they have these cute little flowers. Now this one I guess is a clumping comfrey, which is different than this one over here. This one, my dad was telling me are going to be a problem because they're going to drop their seeds and really start taking over. But for this time right now, they look really fun. We had a windstorm like 3 weeks ago and it knocked over a bunch of stuff. So things are looking kind of wimpy over here. And the daisies are done, and here's more of the hollyhocks. You can see how they just kind of look haggard. I don't know how else to explain it. But they're fun. They're one of my favorites. Have some dahlias over here that I grew from seed. Some sunflowers that I transplanted. And again, I said I had all those random elephant ears because I had split up a tuber that I had saved. Like, look at them. They're crazy. So I just started putting them back here because I really didn't know what else to do with them. But these leaves, they're so fun. Like, I want to do something with them, but I don't know what. Then we have our compost back here. Random plants that I'm saving for different things. In this area, I've been trying to figure out what to put underneath here because this is a cold hardy kiwi. It's made up of 4 or 5 large vines. Like this is one of them. And it creates a really big canopy. I want to try to trim these because you could see how they just keep going out and out, and their little tendrils will start to attach to this, and they already did it to the elderberry. So I'm going to have to trim it. Let me show you the one kiwi we have. It's so crazy. Just one. Here it is. So we found out, well, first of all, these were given to me. And so my dad transplanted 1, 2, and 3 of them, but they actually were transplanted like 3 times in 3 years. So nothing was really happening, which isn't that surprising when you're thinking about like fruiting trees and stuff like that. So nothing happened. And then he said, well, it could be because maybe one of those isn't a male. So they're not self fertile. So he put in this one over here, like 2 or 3 years later, and thinking that it's a male. And it is a male. The thing is, it's a different variety. It's kind of hard to tell because it's not its prime time right now, but it's a variegated leaf. It's not the same species. So this male actually flowers at a different time than the rest of the females. So then I bought another one, which, where is it? I think no, it's not that. I don't know, it's somewhere down here. Oh, there it is. This one, which is a male and the same variety as these other big ones here, except it's still young. So hopefully at some point we'll get them. Last year we got, I think, 3 or 4 of them. Only 2 of them are ripe. They were very good though. So I'm hopeful for this year. Well, not this year. Hopeful for next year. We just saved some of the pollen from the male flower that had already fruited, and then we just kind of like shook it around the tree, and that's how we got those other ones to pollinate. Anyway, it's fun. This is a garden tour for early August 2025 in upstate New York, Zone 6.